Hey, welcome back to my channel, everybody. This is Chef Karl from Cooking and Grilling with Karl, and in this video, I'm going to be making for you some delicious pan-seared ribeye steaks with crab and lobster right after this. Alright, before we get started with this recipe, let me show you all the ingredients. Also, the list of the ingredients is going to be in the description below. Alright, before I get started with a little bit of prep, let me get my knife sharp. Alright, right here I'm cutting some shallots. Alright, right here I'm just splitting the lobster tail. And make sure your knife is good and sharp before you do this. Alright, right here I'm just seasoning up my ribeye steaks. And I'm using all-purpose seasoning for these steaks. I'm using an all-purpose seasoning by Killer Hogs that I got at Walmart. It's a really good seasoning for steaks. Alright, I'm going into a preheated hot pan. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let these steaks sit until they develop a nice crust on the other side. So a couple minutes have went by, so I don't want you to think I put them in and just started flipping them. A couple minutes went by, so as you can see I got a nice crust on it. So I'm going to flip it over, get a crust on the other side. So here I am, I just went in with a half clove of garlic, and I went in with the garlic side down. I just went in with about half a stick of butter. Alright, a little bit more garlic cloves, some rosemary and thyme. But once that butter melts, I'm going to start basting the steaks. So what I'm doing now, I'm just creating a pool of that butter with the herbs and the garlic in it. And now I'm just basting the steak, and that's going to add crazy flavor to that steak. It's going to make it really juicy. Alright. So I typically do this for about, a good 30 seconds or a minute. Yeah, so now I'm just doing the same thing with the other steaks. So now I'm taking out my steaks to let them rest on a wire rack for about 5 minutes, just to stop the cooking and to let the juices stop flowing. I don't want to cut into it and then all the juice run out. And if you look at the arrow, you'll see my son standing there by the stove. He's sitting there waiting, looking at the steak. He can't wait to get his hands on one of those steaks. He's a steak lover just like his father. Alright, in this pan I'm going in with some butter. I'm going to start cooking my lobster. Alright, so I'm going in with the lobster flesh side down. So if you look at the edges and you can see the edges starting to change color, that means that you can flip them. And so obviously we don't need to cook the shell, but just by laying it on the shell, the heat is still going to come up through the shell and cook the other side of the lobster. Alright, so my lobster is finished cooking. Now here I am going with my shallots, going with some fresh chopped garlic, and now I'm going to start making the sauce. Yeah, so right here I'm adding a half cup of white wine. I pulled the pan off to keep from getting the flare up. You know, sometimes if you do it on the stove, the fire will catch with the fumes, and you'll get a little flare up of fire. So right here I'm going in with some heavy cream. Going in with some garlic and herb seasoning. And I also went in with some lemon pepper. Alright, so I'm going to reduce all this down by half. Alright, so as you can see, the color has changed. It's reduced down by half. The flavor's gotten more intense. And that's what deglazing the pan does, and that's also what reducing your sauce does. It gives it a lot more flavor, and it thickens it up a little bit, especially when you put in heavy cream. So from keeping the sauce from breaking, I'm just I stirred it up some more. So now I'm going in with some butter, and that's going to add a nice creamy richness to the sauce. So make sure you get to stirring that right away, because you don't want your butter to separate. Alright, so now I'm going in with some lump crab. And this is more of a backfin, which is the lumps kind of broken up a little bit. And there's a little bit of claw meat in there, but delicious either way. So as you see, I'm being kind of gentle with it. It's still breaking up a little bit, but I was trying to keep it from breaking up. But for between the heat and me stirring it around, it's still ended up breaking up anyway. But it's still going to add really good flavor to the steak. Alright, so I just went in with some chopped parsley, some fresh chopped parsley. Yeah, so at this point everything is done. I'm getting ready to do a quick plate up for you. This is Pan Seared Ribeye Steak with crab and lobster. A nice crab sauce, cream sauce. Alright, so I'm just doing some green beans and mashed potatoes. So at this point I just want to thank you for checking out another one of my videos. Thanks to my subscribers who support the channel, and if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. Just thank you for checking out this Pan Seared Ribeye Steak with crab and lobster. It's a delicious recipe. I hope you give it a try. Check me out on social media, Cooking and Grilling with Karl, on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. I hope to catch you on the next video. Like I said, I appreciate everybody that checks out my videos, and also definitely leave a comment, give a thumbs up. And when you do subscribe, hit the all button so you get notified when I upload a video. On that note, God bless. Peace.